KSAT 12. Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
New cases of coronavirus still going up as San Antonio reports its first death due to the pandemic. We'll have the latest numbers.
And taking a look outside with live cam this morning. Can't see much, but that's actually across the street. Looking at Central Catholic right now. We'll check in with Justin for our weather in just a bit.
And good morning to you. It is Monday. It is March 23rd. We hope you had a wonderful weekend. I'd say for about a majority of our audiences, it was all about kind of hanging out with the family, maybe, sharing a meal, puzzles, games,
learning,
catching up on a show or two. Yes. So did the homeschooling kind of thing happen at your house this weekend?
Yes, not on a strict, schedule. Right. Not like I would like it, but yes, it's happening.
Okay, good. How's that going for Louise?
I know. I need to include him in it, actually.
I know. And then eventually...
it is me and Rudy.
And then we'll get to your daughter. We'll get to your daughter eventually. Right. Well, it is great to see everybody this morning, and we're going to check with Marcus in just a moment. But Justin Horn back in for Mike Osterhage today and for the foreseeable future. And yes. I'll tell you what, this weekend was dreary. Obviously headlines play into that, but it was the perfect weekend. What I tell you before the newscast, kind of a perennial Sunday starting all weekend.
All weekend long, yeah. We watched movies, and I went to go buy a puzzle. Those were sold out. Everyone had the same idea.
So people are hoarding puzzles now.
Pretty much, yeah. So, it's hard to find anything these days. But we're going to see some improvement. We're going to see some sun, I think, later this afternoon. It's going to be warmer. We're going to get some warm temperatures this week. But first, we got to start off with a little bit of fog here, and the visibility is dropping as we speak. So, Randolph, you're down to about a quarter of a mile now. Bernie Stage 5 miles. We're going to see these numbers continue to drop next couple of hours. I don't think it's going to be to the point where we're going to see dense fog in a lot of spots, but we've got to watch these numbers pretty closely. Temperature-wise, 60 Comfort, 59 Bernie Stage, 64 Port SA, 64 Randolph. It's a pretty mild morning. In the forecast for today, takes us up to 72 by noontime. There's some of that sun I was talking about, which will allow temperatures to make it up to 80. But if you think that's warm, just wait till you see next couple of days. We're talking 90s here. This is going to feel a lot like summer, I think, next couple of days. Not only that, we're going to have some humidity, too. We'll have more on that forecast coming up here in just a few minutes. But there are not a lot of cars out there now. But could there be some issues on the roadways? Marcus, how you doing this morning?
Not too bad, Justin.
Good, thank you. We're working on some mic issues here. Bear with us. You can see time saver traffic there, though. A lot of green.
The microphone doesn't work when the batteries fall out because that cover's not quite put on. But I think I got them in the right way. Can y'all hear me?
Yep.
Okay, here's the more important thing. Can you see the fog? Take a look at that. 35 at Main. Now, that doesn't look too bad until you get to the outskirts. This is I-10 at 410. Even though there's not a lot of vehicles out there, remember, it's easy, especially before the sun comes up, for you to get disoriented when you're out there on the roadway and you can't really see what's ahead of you. So those turns and curves that you drive to every day, remember, you're probably moving a little bit faster because there are fewer vehicles out there on the roadway, so you want to reduce that speed, especially through those foggy areas. Now, here in the downtown area, we have a lot of lighting. There are 37 at Cesar Chavez, no problem. But those turns and curves, that's where you can get a little treacherous for some folks, just like that I-10 curve right there, 35 right there by the Fine Silver area. So keep that in mind as you're out there. 37 at Hackberry down there on the south side, they also have that fog. So remember, even though there's plenty of room out there, just reduce that speed, drive safely. Mark and Stephanie.
Thank you, Marcus. The number of new cases of coronavirus continue to climb in our area.
And a look at the latest numbers from Metro Health now shows 45 positive cases of COVID-19. 26 are travel-related. 7 are close contacts of previously diagnosed. Now 10 cases were part of the community spread and 2 remain under investigation.
And for the first time in our area, a case of COVID-19 turned deadly over the weekend. City and county officials say a woman in her 80s died. She was being treated at Brooke Army Medical Center and had a history of underlying health issues. The death comes a little more than a week since the first case of COVID-19 was confirmed here in our area.
In Dallas County, a big shakeup to everyday life coming in the form of a countywide shelter-in-place order. County Judge Clay Jenkins issued that order following the deaths of 2 more people. The order lasts through April 3rd, with the likelihood of it being extended. It allows for people to still leave their homes for activities deemed essential. Those include getting supplies for themselves, their families, or to perform tasks deemed necessary to their health and safety. Only essential businesses like healthcare, Critical infrastructure and retail that includes grocery stores are allowed to operate.
Now, all that again taking place up in Dallas County. Well, the White House making assurances help is on the way as the country still is reeling from the coronavirus pandemic.
2 states hard hit by the virus already declared disaster areas, and California may be next. ABC's Inez de la Cuerta with the latest from Washington.
Overnight, President Trump announcing the National Guard will be deployed to the 3 states hit the hardest by the coronavirus outbreak: New York, California, and Washington state.
The federal government has deployed hundreds of tons of supplies from our national stockpile to locations with the greatest need.
The president also revealing makeshift hospitals will be built in those states to accommodate the growing number of cases. 4 in the New York area, providing another 1,000 beds, plus 8 in California and 4 in Washington state. And the administration promising it'll send hospitals respirators and personal protective gear such as masks and gowns.
So far delivered to New York, and this is the 19th, we had the N95 respirators, 186,416 delivered.
Meanwhile, on Capitol Hill, the first senator testing positive for COVID-19, Kentucky Senator Rand Paul. Senator Mitt Romney now having to go into quarantine after recently coming into contact with Paul. This as negotiations over a $2 trillion stimulus bill to help the economy recover from the outbreak are hitting a roadblock. Democrats say the 2 sides are still far apart, taking issue with key elements of the bill, including a $500 billion relief fund for corporations without any protections for workers.
And what it has is, for instance, a giant corporate bailout fund with no accountability.
Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell insists the bill is moving forward.
So we're fiddling here, fiddling with the emotions of the American people, fiddling with the markets.
Inez de la Cuerta, ABC News, Washington.
And the South Texas Blood and Tissue Center holding a week-long community blood drive this week. The goal of the drive is to build up a 20-day supply amid the outbreak. The drive will be at the San Antonio Shrine Auditorium from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Donations are by appointment only. We have all that information on our website at KSAT.com.
437, 63 degrees.
And still ahead, bringing a new child into the world is tough enough, but now the ongoing pandemic creating an entirely new level of uncertainty for pregnant women.
And next, Canada becomes the latest country to drop out of the 2020 Olympic Games in Tokyo due to the outbreak concerns.
And taking a look outside with live cam, not too much to look at right now. It's 63 degrees, a little bit warmer than it was this weekend. We might see the sun. We're going to check in with Justin for your full forecast.
.440 in your morning headlines. Canada says it will not send athletes to the 2020 Olympics in Tokyo this summer. The team made the announcement on Twitter. Canada calling on Olympic organizers to delay the games by a full year as the world struggles to slow the spread of COVID-19. This comes after the International Olympic Committee announced potentially postponing this year's games, but no official decision has been made yet. The Australian Olympic Committee is also warning its athletes to prepare for the Summer Games to be pushed back to 2021.
And New Zealand will go into a full lockdown for about 4 weeks in an effort to slow the spread of the new coronavirus. The country's prime minister says the lockdown will begin in 48 hours. People will have to stay at home and all non-essential businesses and activities will stop. The decision came as health officials there confirmed another 36 confirmed cases of COVID-19, bringing that total to 102.
Wall Street could be in for another dive this morning. Futures trading overnight stopped almost as soon as it started after prices fell as that stimulus bill stalled in the U.S. Senate. Traders are also worried as more states put restrictions on which businesses can be open and which have to shut down amid the coronavirus outbreak.
In Hong Kong, announcing extreme new measures to slow the spread of the coronavirus. The city will ban all non-residents from entering the city starting on Wednesday, and all people coming in from nearby cities will have to be quarantined. This comes as Hong Kong reports a growing number of coronavirus cases, most of which have been imported from overseas.
Time check 442, 63 degrees on your Monday morning.
And still ahead, the box office feeling a big loss thanks to COVID-19 as nearly 28,000 screens are closed in the U.S. alone, with thousands of workers laid off.
Up next, more on a local business. Some are accusing of price gouging due to demand caused by the coronavirus.
In this morning's GMA First Look, pregnancy in the age of the coronavirus.
We know that the virus has caused a lot of worry, and this can be especially true for pregnant patients. And our top goal is to keep moms and babies safe before, during, and after pregnancy.
Even for our very own GMA producers, this pandemic is adding extra anxiety during their pregnancies.
Right now, I'm 30 weeks pregnant. My due date is May 26th. So obviously a really crazy time to be pregnant.
I am currently 38 weeks pregnant, and I am unsure.
And for women who are already pregnant, there is so much changing during this time of social distancing, like fewer prenatal visits and some even virtual. And coming up at 7 a.m., Dr. Jen Ashton weighs in on what expectant mothers need to know. With your GMA First Look, I'm Janae Norman, ABC News, New York.
Accusations of price gouging have launched an investigation into a local grocery store on the city's south side.
So photos online show a price increase in store items at Thrifty Mart. Those photos are generating many questions and concerns online.
KSAT 12 Stephen Cavazos spoke with the store owner who is now addressing those claims against his business.
Items flying off the shelves as customer demand grows. But Juan Cañedo, owner and manager of Thrifty Mart, says despite this, he still wants to make sure they have what they need.
I see the desperation in people. I see that they're scared.
The store located off Zarzamora has not been able to stock their shelves with certain items like eggs, milk, and tissue paper from traditional vendors. Cañedo forced to find an alternative to keep business going. But in doing so, the store was accused of price gouging.
That was very hurtful, because all we try to do is take care of our customers.
Invoices show the store purchased inventory from non-traditional vendors who don't normally provide items sold at the store, which is why the price was higher. Toilet paper rolls this size are what's typically sold here at Thrifty Mart, but because of recent demands, this is what they've had to sell to customers, which is why the price has changed. The store marked up price to continue profiting, but according to the store's attorney, their retail margins have stayed the same. Cañedo says the store, which has been open more than 50 years, has never been faced with something like this.
Today, I couldn't take care of my customers. I had to address these allegations.
But he says for now, the store will stay open, and in a time of uncertainty, they'll continue to serve the community.
We wanted to take care of our customers. No, we wanted to take care of our neighbors.
That was Stephen Cavazos reporting.
All right, let's go ahead and take a look out at the roads with Marcus.
And as you can see the map there, not too bad. Slow down there, 410. Bandera actually approaching 410. That's no doubt due to the traffic lights out there. Let's take another look at TransGuide. You can see various parts of the city. We do have a little bit of mist fog. You will have to slow down. This is 281 winding way. So whether you're northbound or southbound, just give it some extra distance between you and the vehicle ahead of you if you do encounter any vehicles ahead of you. But those areas like here by the airport, those twists and turns, that's where it's going to be a little bit treacherous. You want to slow down well ahead of any of those areas as you're commuting this morning, and really until it clears up and dries up. So just keep that in mind.
Marcus, good to have you back. Switching gears now, checking in with Justin. Are we talking about a widespread visibility issue this morning, Justin?
It is widespread. I don't think it's going to last a terribly long time, and I do think we'll get some sun this afternoon. So there's some improvement. It was a dreary weekend, that's for sure, but we did pick up some good rainfall. Let's start with a look outside, I guess, right now, and you can see where some of the fog is. And then now we'll talk rainfall here. For the month of March, 1.45 inches. That's about 2/10 below the average. You know, we really did pretty good this weekend, adding on to our rainfall totals. It was much needed. From January 1st, we're now up to 4.39. That's just a little bit below average. So this, too, is an improvement. We like to see this. It wasn't very heavy yesterday. It was mostly just sort of that drizzly stuff. But it did add up to something. And the aquifer is up over a foot now since Thursday. It's at 671.8, and that is still above average. So we're still doing really well here with the aquifer. As always, we could use a little bit more rain, but there's not much in the forecast this week. We're going to quiet things down a little bit. Visibility out there down to about half a mile at Randolph, half a mile in New Braunfels. So it's corridor here around Schertz area where the fog is at its thickest. As you go west, it improves a little bit as far as visibility is concerned. Let's take a look at some of the TransGuide shots, and Marcus just showed you some of these, but so far there at I-10 and 410, visibility looks okay. We'll continue to check in. The live cam It's a little different story here. Of course, it's up high, so it always looks worse than it actually is. 63 at the airport, 64 at Port SA, 64 at Randolph. We got calm winds across the board. This is a pretty good setup for some fog, so not a surprise here. And we're seeing it really across South Texas. We've seen some out around Hondo and Uvalde, places like Eagle Pass, seeing a little bit of fog, and then up towards Austin as well. Temperatures are rather warm, and in fact, we're seeing some 70s on the map this morning, believe it or not. 71 Victoria, 71 Gonzales, 60s elsewhere, maybe a few 50s in the hill country, and dew points are still pretty high. What we're going to see happen is a fairly humid day, but tomorrow morning, we're going to get a weak frontal boundary that's going to push in. It's going to drop the dew points off, albeit briefly, but it'll still feel pretty nice because these dew points will drop off into the 30s and 40s. So we'll have a shot of some drier air for about half a day or so, and then the moisture returns. But that's going to really help to boost temperatures tomorrow. When you get dry air, we tend to see some of those warmer temperatures, and I'll show you those numbers here in just a second. Radar and satellite across the state of Texas. We've got a departing storm system here. That's taking the rain with it. Still a lot of snow up across the Great Lakes. Another storm system out west. But none of these really are poised to affect us. So we're going to see high pressure actually build in the upper levels. That's that old high that we hate to see during summer. It won't be over us, but it is nudging north, and that's why I think we'll see temperatures in the 90s. By the weekend, we'll get another little storm system moving close by. That may kick off a shower or storm or two Friday night into Saturday. Forecast for today, up around 80. We'll call for some afternoon clearing. Southerly winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. And then 88 tomorrow with some morning clouds. And then up to 91 Wednesday and perhaps 91 Thursday. So these are more summer-like temperatures here, and there's that 20% chance of rain Friday into Saturday.
Air conditioner time.
Oh,
it
that's
pretty much
true.
is. Yeah, it's amazing how we just sort of flip the switch, and here we go.
We knew it was coming.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, all right, the rain's been nice. Thank you very much, Justin. Right now, we're at 452, 63 degrees.
And coming up next on GMSA, how some quarantined Hollywood actors are going the extra mile to keep themselves, as well as fans, entertained while they stay indoors.
Let's take a look at your lottery numbers here. Pick 3, 834 Fireball 0. Daily 4 numbers, 8752 Fireball 8.
And looking at Cash 5, 9, 12, 28, 29, 35. And Lotto Texas, 3, 8, 14, 18, 27, 47. And your Powerball numbers, 2, 23, 40, 59, 69. Powerball 13, Power Play 2. Good luck.
Hollywood stars who have contracted coronavirus are coming up with unique ways to keep fans and themselves entertained.
ABC's Christopher Watson has the latest on what's happening in Hollywood.
The drama Human Capital is the only major film that opened this weekend, but it's anyone's guess how it performed. Industry box office tracker ComScore has suspended reporting during the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, and even had it continued, theater closures and audience limits are pummeling the box office bottom line, and studios continue to delay or cancel releases as a result. As of now, nearly 28,000 screens are closed in the U.S. alone, with thousands of workers laid off.
I give props to hip-hop, so hip-hop, hooray, ho, hey, ho.
Rita Wilson's keeping herself amused as she and husband Tom Hanks continue their quarantine in Australia after testing positive for COVID-19. She's delivered a word-for-word rap-along to Naughty by Nature's hip-hop classic Hip Hop Hooray on her Instagram. Longtime Bon Jovi keyboardist David Bryans also tested positive for COVID-19, revealing the news on his Instagram, along with a call for everyone to remain calm and help one another.
You make me crazy.
And country singer Brett Eldridge is 34 today. And that's what's happening in Hollywood. I'm Christopher Watson, ABC News.
Right now, we're about 4 minutes away from the top of the hour, 63 degrees.
And still ahead in our next half hour, as hospitals across the country sound the alarm about the growing coronavirus crisis, many are already running low on protective gear.
Plus details on how the coronavirus is bringing communities together, with some adults saying it has them talking to neighbors they previously had no relationship with. Silver linings.
Live from KSAT 12, Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
Now at 5, workers at hotels, restaurants, even airlines facing unemployment after an unprecedented drop in demand due to the coronavirus shutdowns.
Plus, growing concern inside America's hospitals as doctors on the front lines plead for help.
After a dreary, gloomy weather weekend here in South Texas, we're beginning Monday looking very gray out there. Hard to see much of anything due to some low clouds and some fog. Good morning to you. It is Monday. It is March 23rd.
Thanks for joining us this morning. Yeah, a little bit warmer this morning than it was this weekend.
I think that is the trend. For confirmation, here is meteorologist Justin Horn.
Hey there, good morning, guys. Mother Nature is cranking up the heat. It's not terribly hot right now, but it is warmer. As Stephanie mentioned, we've got temperatures in the 60s, and things are only going to go up from here. First, we've got to deal, though, with a little bit of fog, visibility dropping in a lot of spots. Let's jump right to it, show you where the fog is at its thickest, and that is over towards Randolph and up towards New Braunfels. These numbers have steadily been dropping. We're down to about half a mile visibility now, and look at that, the airport now, half a mile. This is updating as we speak, and these numbers are coming down. Stinson down to 3/4 of a mile. So I think most of San Antonio is going to be within the fog here soon, and this is going to last several hours. A lot of people are not out on the roads, but if you are, be extra careful out there because the fog could be thick in spots. Pollen count as of yesterday, mold is in the high category. Not a big surprise, it was rather damp over the weekend, right? Oak is at 730 in the high category, and we're still dealing with oak issues. Hackberry is low. Temperature-wise, 50s and 60s for the most part. Bernie Stage, one of the cool spots there, 59, but everybody else is in the 60s, 64 Randolph, 66 right now at Floresville. And the forecast for today, cloudy, foggy early, cloudy noontime, 72, but up to 75 by 2 o'clock. I do think we'll see some sun today, if you're hoping for that, up to 80 by 5 o'clock, partly cloudy. And from there, it gets a lot warmer. We've been talking about those 90-degree temperatures. Yes, they are in the forecast. Well, more on that in just a bit. Well, let's check in with Marcus now. And do we have any incidents out there with the visibility dropping, Marcus?
Well, actually, we do, Justin. And folks, we're going to go to an accident, then show you what's the, as far as TransGuide, the cameras that we have, as far as how bad the fog is in some areas. But first, that accident being reported on Wurzbach Parkway. Now, that's no surprise with the slick conditions. Remember, there's a lot of twists and turns, little hills here and there, little dips in the roadway. So areas just like that are roadways. You want to slow down through those areas throughout this morning commute until we can get everything cleared up and dried off. Now, Wurzbach Parkway, Ed Weed, and we're looking at the eastbound lanes. Once again, it's right there where there's a lot of twists and turns before you get to 35. So watch out for emergency vehicles in that area. Remember, gentle application of the brake and the accelerator throughout your morning commute, and down there somewhere, 35 at Evans. So it's been a while since we've seen it that bad up there in this part of the city. However, we're seeing this all the way over to the other side as well, I-10 Camp Bullis area. So just remember, reduce that speed, increase that following distance. Stephanie?
All right, thank you, Marcus. Guadalupe County is reporting its second COVID-19 case. Officials say the individual is experiencing mild symptoms and isolating at home. Now, officials say there's a risk of exposure for people who went to the H-E-B located at 17460 I-35 North in Schertz. It happened between 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. on Monday, March 16th. Now, officials believe the risk of contracting the virus is low, but people who visited the store at the time are urged to monitor themselves for symptoms. Watch out for fever, cough, or sore throat, or shortness of breath.
Governor Greg Abbott has issued executive orders that include a direction to healthcare professionals to postpone all elective surgeries not deemed medically necessary. The decision made in order to keep more beds available for people in need of urgent care. A second order frees up hospital capacity by allowing more than one patient in each room. This comes as the governor announced 334 confirmed cases in Texas and 6 deaths. Abbott says he has not ordered all Texans to shelter in place, saying that there are still many counties in Texas without confirmed cases.
And California first. Now other states are following suit, effectively issuing stay-at-home orders. Connecticut, Illinois, and New York are now doing the same in the face of the coronavirus pandemic. All this as states across the U.S. have an urgent need for supplies to care for the sick.
As life comes to a halt for many, unemployment claims are skyrocketing. Economists at Goldman Sachs predict the next report will show 2.25 million Americans filed for unemployment in just the past week. Hotels, restaurants, airlines all announcing layoffs after an unprecedented drop in demand. Many small businesses struggling as some states order them to close. And the White House offering some relief, delaying the tax filing deadline until July 15th. They're also waiving interest on federal student loans. As hospitals sound the alarm about the growing crisis, a U.S. Navy hospital ship is leaving San Diego today, headed to Los Angeles.
It's bringing 800 medical professionals and support staff. Many hospitals are already running low on protective gear, and officials are warning we may not see the peak of new cases for at least another month. ABC's Kenneth Moten has the latest.
This morning, growing concern inside America's hospitals as doctors on the front lines plead for help.
It's a scary time to be a doctor.
The long-feared surge of coronavirus patients has hit New York City. Now with more than 10,000 confirmed patients, roughly 5% of the world's cases. This image on social media showing medical staff at one New York hospital wearing garbage bags as gowns. At a Brooklyn hospital, doctors say they are reusing masks, rubbing them down with hand sanitizer between shifts.
Literally the epicenter of this American crisis.
Internal memos written by Columbia University's chief surgeon report a 50% increase in coronavirus patients, burning through 40,000 masks every day. Mayor Bill de Blasio says some of the city's hospitals will run out of protective gear in the next 10 days. He's asking President Trump for the military's help to get the much-needed supplies delivered.
We have to get these supplies here very rapidly from around the country. No one does that better than the military. Bluntly, we're going to get to a point where there are people waiting for a bed, where there's people waiting for a ventilator, and some will die who did not need to die.
Dr. Cornelia Griggs, a mother of two, is a pediatric surgeon who works with coronavirus patients at Columbia University Medical Center. She says she's worried the hospital could run out of masks, eye protection, and gloves. Her message on Twitter, "Don't make us orphan our two toddlers."
It's forced me to feel like I have to live apart from my children in order to protect them, and that breaks my heart.
Kenneth Moten, ABC News, New York.
As always, we have more coronavirus coverage online. We have a map of where students can find curbside meals while school is closed, information on upcoming blood drives here in South Texas, and we can answer your questions submitted to SAQ and so much more. Just head to KSAT.com, click on the coronavirus tab right there on our homepage.
And the U.S. Secretary of State has arrived in Kabul on an urgent visit to try to move forward a U.S. peace deal signed last month with the Taliban. Now, since its signing, movement on the peace deal has stalled, and political turmoil in Afghanistan with the country's leaders squabbling over who is elected president. Two men have both declared themselves the country's president in dueling inauguration ceremonies earlier this month. Now, Mike Pompeo's trip to Afghan capital today comes despite the coronavirus pandemic at a time when world leaders and statesmen are curtailing official travel.
507, 63 degrees.
And still ahead, Best Buy, one of the many companies moving to curbside pickup as it sees a surge in orders for home office equipment.
And a Texas-based vodka company getting in on the fight against the coronavirus.
And taking a look outside with live cam. Kind of foggy there, but Justin says we're going to see the sun. We'll tell you when after the break. And welcome back. It is 5:11. In your morning consumer headlines, Bed Bath & Beyond stores in the U.S. and Canada will close until at least April 3rd. That's as more and more retailers shut down to stop the spread of the COVID-19. Now, Bed Bath & Beyond says it will continue to pay its employees and offer benefits during the closure. And it says the change does not apply to its Bye Bye Baby stores. At first, Bed Bath & Beyond planned to keep about half its locations open, but employees expressed concern for their health. That's as experts advise people to stay home to avoid catching the coronavirus.
One of the largest global chains has been forced to make the most difficult decision due to the outbreak. McDonald's UK and Ireland have announced they'll close every restaurant in the United Kingdom and Ireland by 7 o'clock tonight. The company's chief executive officer at the McDonald's UK and Ireland says it's become nearly impossible to, quote, maintain safe social distancing while operating busy takeaway and drive-through restaurants before closing the doors. McDonald's locations they are providing free food and drinks to any health workers or emergency services personnel.
A company known for making liquids for your mouth is now working on liquids for your hands, hand sanitizer to be exact. Tito's Vodka sending out this tweet that it's focused on producing 24 tons of hand sanitizer. The Texas-based business says it will make a product that adheres to industry and governmental guidance. They also advise customers to not use their vodka as a way to keep their hands clean.
Oh, okay. Well, there's that. Right now we're at 512, 63 degrees. Strange days we're living in, people.
Yes. And still ahead, what Hollywood plans to do with some of the big films that were scheduled to debut at theaters next month.
Well, we know how things have been trending in that category.
Exactly.
We'll find out. And next, some of the biggest tech companies in the world are partnering with the White House to provide computer resources for COVID-19 research.
Your warmest moments, the photos you only want to share with those close to you, deserve to be kept at home. Meet Ebi, new from SanDisk. It works like a personal cloud for your photos and videos and stores them in one place. Sharing is private, so your most personal moments only go to those who matter most. Ebi, it's like a personal cloud for your photos and videos. Don't lose another holiday moment. Go to meetebi.com or visit Best Buy or Amazon.
Technology stocks extended their gains Wednesday.
That snack just sounded boring. Coming through. No photos, please. Bye-bye, Bland. Hello, delicious.
Rich, creamy, 100% real cheese. With Mini Baby Bell, snack time is saved.
Saved it.
When was your last professional cleaning? 6 months? A year? Maybe it's time to get back to clean. Call or go online for our $99 special.
Call 1-800-STEAMER. Stanley Steamer gets your home cleaner.
5:16, the country's biggest tech companies partnering with the White House to help map out the spread of the coronavirus. ABC's Kenneth Moten and Monu Kassar Abdi have details in today's Tech Bites.
In today's Tech Bites, supercomputers fighting the coronavirus. IBM is heading up a partnership with the White House that will add high-performance computing resources to help research the virus. Google, Amazon, and Microsoft are also part of the consortium. The goal is to develop models to analyze how the disease is progressing, which could help develop a vaccine. Starting today, you won't be able to browse in a Best Buy store. An employee will bring the merchandise out to your car, even if you didn't order in advance. Best Buy is seeing a surge for home office equipment, as well as products that allow you to preserve food. And social distancing appears to be making people more neighborly. About 2/3 of respondents to a study in the UK said the coronavirus crisis is bringing their community closer together. Many credit it working together to help vulnerable neighbors. Those are your Tech Bites.
Time to check traffic at 5:17.
That's right. It's a little foggy out there, Marcus. How's it looking?
It is a little foggy. In some places, it's a lot foggy. Let's take a look at the maps once again, folks. We still have this accident going to be on Wurzbach Parkway right there at Wiedner Road. So lots of twists and turns on that roadway, that stretch of roadway, Wurzbach Parkway. So that's one of the areas. If you can avoid it in mornings like this morning when there's almost no traffic, but the roads are slick, then you want to try to stay to some of those straighter roadways. Now let's take a look outside through TransGuide. Somewhere down there's I-10, 410 on the east side. You can see having lots of problems over there with the fog. Not too bad here, 410 at Fredericksburg Road, but 35 in Maine, the downtown vicinity, we have some. And then there, I-10 at the Y, what you need to be careful with there, slick streets. So right there, those turns and curves will be very, very slippery. And then if we back up, that gives you a better idea there, I-10 and Frio, you get a better idea of just how much or how widespread the fog is. So we do have it here in the downtown vicinity. So you do want to slow down and give it some extra space, just like we're giving it some extra space.
We are giving it some extra space, yes. Yeah. And obviously we have fewer cars on the roads. That's the silver lining perhaps to a weather situation like we're having this morning, Justin.
It's true, yeah. The fog is getting thicker as we speak, so visibility may go down a little bit lower before it gets better. We think it'll probably be gone by mid-morning. On the flip side of things, we're going to see some warmer temperatures. It could be a good time to get out and mow the lawn. It's about that time. You know, we got some rain over the weekend, so the grass is going to grow. And the temperatures will be warm. I'm going to go ahead and put a check mark on Wednesday and Thursday, but if you don't like the heat, maybe not the best days. It is going to be warm during the afternoon. The one day I'm marking here, Saturday, we could see a little bit of rain. Still, it's probably an okay day to go out and mow the lawn. So let's talk fog now. Visibility down to about half a mile at the airport, 3/4 of a mile at Stinson. Actually, visibility is improving just a bit at Randolph. New Braunfels still at half a mile. Bernie Station about 4 miles. We'll continue to keep an eye on those numbers, but we're just not seeing much here on live cam with the fog in place. Temperature, dew point, equal, and when you see that, that does create fog, especially when you have cold winds. Humidity is obviously at 100% there. Visibility around the region, we're talking Uvalde down to 4 miles, Eagle Pass 2.5 miles, Victoria 2.5 miles, so there are some other spots dealing with fog as well. Temperatures, 59 Rock Springs, 61 Uvalde, 64 Pleasanton, 70 right now Bevo. It's a warm morning. Dew points are going to stay pretty high today. They'll dip off a little bit tomorrow down to 53 and then pick back up middle part of the week when we're seeing those warm temperatures. So we could actually be dealing with a heat index, by the way, midweek. And then by the weekend, they'll drop off again as we get another front in here. Forecast high temperatures today, I think around 80 here in San Antonio. It's going to be very dependent on when we lose these clouds. We'll lose the fog mid-morning. I think the clouds will hold on through probably lunchtime, if not early afternoon. And then once we see some sun, these temperatures will jump up a little bit. But where we see more sun, we could be looking at some upper 80s, Carrizo Springs, Katua, underneath the clouds, a little bit cooler up to the north, 74 in Kerrville, potentially this afternoon. Radar satellite doesn't show a whole lot here. We have a departing storm system, a few showers hanging on across East Texas, and then some pretty active weather as you get off to the north and east. Snows falling this morning across the Great Lakes, a little bit of rain there in California. But the overall pattern quiets down. And as we go forward in time here, ridge-high pressure starts to build in. That's that old heat high we hate during the summer. It's down there over Mexico right now, but it's going to nose in Wednesday and Thursday, and that's why I think we get some pretty toasty temperatures. Little storm system starts to move in Friday and Saturday. That pushes the heat away and gives us a slight chance for shower or storm. That'll be Friday night and Saturday morning. Temperatures today up around 80 degrees for a high. We'll get some clearing this afternoon, and then tomorrow 88, 91 Wednesday. We showed you those temperatures. They're off the top, but these are some warm numbers. There's that chance for rain Friday into Saturday.
I mean, there's a point even when the diehards are going to go ahead and flick the AC back on.
Yes, indeed. It's about that time. And, you know, it's about late March when we would start to see these kind of numbers. So it's not crazy, but a little bit of a shock to the system.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Thank you, Justin.
Yep.
Nice to see the sun, though.
Yeah, it really is. Let's see, check the time right now, 5:21, 63 degrees.
And have you ever wanted to learn how to play the guitar? Now is the time to do that, probably. How one company is offering free lessons.
One more time. What's up, my techno-trolls?
By all appearances, most movie theaters will still be closed due to COVID-19 on April 10th. That's when Universal says Trolls World Tour will be available on home video and in theaters. That's not sitting well with John Fithian, head of the National Association of Theater Owners. He tells The Hollywood Reporter it's fine for studios to shift movies in current release to home video, but other big studio films scheduled for release later this spring have been pushed back, ensuring they'll run in theaters eventually, except Trolls World Tour. Says Fithian, exhibitors will not forget this.
Fender Play is designed to change the way you learn to play guitar.
Ever wanted to learn guitar and suddenly find yourself staying home with time on your hands? Fender Play, the guitar maker's online school, is offering 3 months of free guitar, bass, or ukulele lessons to the first 100,000 new subscribers who sign up. Details on the Fender website, which notes, "We're all going to be spending more time inside, so we might as well make some noise." Figuring out my frets in Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
5:25, 63 degrees.
And still ahead in our next half hour, another vote on the coronavirus stimulus bill scheduled for later today. What that means for many Americans.
In a new documentary on the coronavirus, Oprah Winfrey talks with actors who have tested positive and about the challenges of self-quarantine.
Plus, as the world hunkers down amid the COVID-19 pandemic, musicians are getting in tune and continue to entertain us.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about Garth Brooks has got a big streaming appearance coming up sooner than later.
Very nice.
And a good morning to you. It is Monday. It is already March 23rd. The month is just flying by, isn't it, Steph?
Yes, it is. And in a weird way, it's very different.
Very different. We are waking up to more new normals. We hope you had a good weekend, got some things done, got to experience a little bit of joy with your family or friends. As we shift gears now, check in with both Marcus, who's back, and Justin Horn in for Mike. Gentlemen, good morning to you.
Good morning. And as far as the roadways are concerned, despite the fog that Justin brought with him this morning, not too many issues out there. We did manage to clear up that accident.
That's a whole lot of responsibility put on you.
Yeah, there's a lot of fog. Listen, foggy out there, not foggy in the brain. At least I hope. We do have some lower visibility in spots. We're going to keep an eye on that this morning. First, I want to start with a picture, though, guys, in our KSAT Connect. We got some good rain over the weekend. We love checking those rain gauges and see where we stand. Judith sent this picture in. And Fair Oaks Ranch, about 2 inches here in 24 hours. That's a good number. On average, about an inch here around San Antonio. So some very beneficial rain. There's a look at the fog. We're at about half a mile at the airport, 3/4 of a mile Stinson, 0.6 miles here at Randolph, about half a mile in New Braunfels. So it's right in this corridor here that we're getting that thick fog. And it may cause a few travel issues if you are going to be out and about this morning. Marcus will have more on that in just a second. Temperature-wise, 63 Canyon Lake, 66 New Braunfels, 62 right now in Divine. It's a warm morning. We're going to be up around 72 noontime, 75 by 2 o'clock. If you're hoping to see a little bit of sun today, I think it happens, but we got to wait till probably the late afternoon for that to occur. 80 degrees the high temperature today. And as we get into the next couple of days, 88 tomorrow, 91 Wednesday, 91 Thursday. Not near those records, but awful warm. We'll have more on that forecast here in just a few minutes. But let's get back over to Marcus and check in and see how those roadways are doing.
Well, thank you, Justin. And folks, as we take a look, you can see no accidents on any of the highways. And that accident we did have on Wurzbach Parkway there, no more should be an issue. Just take a look at TransGuide there. There's other areas where you want to slow down. 6 on the forklift, it doesn't look too bad. But 35 Ben-Ziegelman on the northeast side, you definitely see that fog. So roadways are slick, and just assume that they're slick throughout the city. In 35, 37 here, the downtown area, all the way up through 35 at Evans. So remember, reduce that speed, both hands on the wheel. Put away those distractions. Stephanie?
Thank you, Marcus. And there has been another climb in the number of coronavirus cases in Bexar County. We are now up to 45 people who have tested positive. Our Katrina Weber is live downtown with that breakdown. Now, for the first time, we had a death this weekend.
Well, that is right. That news coming from Metro Health yesterday, that a woman in her 80s who had other health problems has become the first in Bexar County to fall victim to the coronavirus, COVID-19. Now, other people, dozens of other people dealing with the news that they too are positive for the virus, some of them being treated for symptoms. As of yesterday afternoon, the total in Bexar County was 45 people. A little more than half of those contracted the coronavirus through travel. 7 are believed to have gotten it through close contact with someone else who they know who tested positive. At least 10 people, though, are suspected of contracting the virus within our community. And there are 2 other cases where the source of their infection is still under investigation. Again, these numbers are the latest that were released by the city yesterday. They're expected to release a new round later on this afternoon. And if the medical experts' predictions are correct, we could see the numbers continue to rise. Reporting live downtown, Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
Thank you, Katrina. Another procedural vote on the coronavirus stimulus bill is set for later today.
SCNN John Lawrence reports this coming less than 24 hours after Senate Democrats halted movement on the proposal.
No deal.
The motion is not agreed to.
Senate Democrats slammed the brakes on a stimulus package aimed at boosting the economy struggling from the coronavirus pandemic.
Legislation has many problems. At the top of the list, it includes a large corporate bailout with no protections for workers and virtually no oversight.
Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell says if the bill doesn't move forward, more Americans will fall into financial hardship.
Our nation cannot afford the game of chicken. Doctors, nurses, small business employees, laid off Americans, and vulnerable seniors need our help right now.
Despite this standstill at the Senate, some help is on the way.
As long as I am your president, you can feel confident that you have a leader who will always fight for you, and I will not stop until we win. This will be a great victory.
The president announcing federal medical stations are coming to 3 major coronavirus hotspots: California, Washington State, and New York State.
The president and vice president had a focused, constructive conversation with me directly to talk about what's going on, particularly in our public hospitals, which are literally 10 days away from running out of really basic supplies, particularly and equipment like ventilators.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
And as always, we have more coronavirus coverage online. We have a map of where students can find curbside meals while their schools are closed. Information on the upcoming blood drive by the South Texas Blood and Tissue Center, and answers to your questions submitted to SAQ, and so much more. Just head to KSAT.com and click on the coronavirus tab on our homepage. And oil prices continue to fall overnight. The world's benchmark Brent crude fell about 4% to just under $26 a barrel. Demand for oil has been falling for the past several days. Oil producing giants Saudi Arabia and Russia have been in a price war for weeks.
An Australian zoo is live streaming animal enclosures for people who are stuck at home during the pandemic. But it's the zookeeper's Dan says everyone entertained. Are you seeing this at the bottom? At first glance, you might miss it, but look a little closer. Bottom right, there is Adam busting some moves. And
is that a fan? Or a brush?
It does
like
look like a fan.
Yeah.
Someone gave him a dance accessory. Huh. Let's find out.
Oh, here's a close-up.
Yeah, there's a close-up, right? Wow. Got some good moves. Yep. You do what you got to do, right?
Aw. It's appreciated.
It is appreciated. Definitely appreciated. 5:35, 63 degrees.
And still ahead, what exactly the term flattening the curve means and why it's so important to our healthcare system.
And next, more on a new series on the coronavirus pandemic being launched by Oprah Winfrey.
And taking a look outside with live cam, not seeing too much right now. And it is 63 degrees, but Justin says we are going to see the 90s. This week. We're going to check in with him in just a bit.
Just into our newsroom, we want to get to some late breaking news right now. San Antonio police are on the scene of a shooting.
Our Max Massey just pulled up to that scene on East Jones and North Alamo. Max, what can you tell us?
Good morning, guys. We are still waiting to hear the latest information from police, but what we know right now is that around 3 a.m. they got a call for a shooting, and that's when they found one man with at least one injury, one gunshot wound. Take a look behind me. Police still on the scene, still looking for any suspects, still looking for any evidence. They tell me that they found that victim, that gunshot wound victim, inside the truck just behind me, and they say right now they're aware of at least 2 suspects. Again, still combing through the area, still searching. Actually, just a few moments ago, we saw them walking on both sides of Alamo and up and down East Jones with large flashlights. Again, trying to figure out what exactly happened here, why it happened, and who exactly pulled the trigger. We are going to be live throughout the morning, bringing any updates and all the information as it comes to us. There are police still on the scene, so we expect to talk to them throughout the morning. Mark, Stephanie.
Thank you, Max. Oprah Winfrey is launching a new series on the coronavirus pandemic. It's called Oprah Talks COVID-19. It is streaming now, can be viewed on Apple TV Plus or with or without a subscription. In her first episode, Oprah talked with actor Idris Elba, who tested positive, and his wife about how they were meeting the challenges of self-quarantine.
And Tinder temporarily offering its passport service for free so people connect with each other despite social distancing. Now, Passport allows those people who use a dating app to change their locations. That way they can start conversations with people who live in other states or other countries. It's usually a paid service, but Tinder says it might help people connect with each other when they're stuck at home.
Okay, so there's that idea. 5:40, 63 degrees.
Amid the coronavirus outbreak, Amazon employees are receiving as a way to show their appreciation for all their hard work.
$5:42, welcome back. Maybe you need to hit the store for something in need, or you do have to work this morning. Let's see how time saver traffic's looking.
All right, how's it look, Marcus?
Not too bad. Don't know if any of the stores are open yet, but some of them are getting some lines early. Saw on social media this weekend a lot of people posting pictures of locations where there's just lines wrapped around. Just remember, no matter where you go, not only do you have to keep your distance, but also keep your patience. Remember, we're all in this together. As we take a look at the roadways right now, 37 at Jones, there's that fog and mist there here in the downtown vicinity. So we'll have to slow down, reduce that speed regardless of where you're driving to, because it's pretty much all over the city. This is up there by the airport, then of course 281 and Grayson in the downtown area. But once again, your most treacherous area is going to be all those long turns and curves. That's where it could be really slick this morning. Mark and Stephanie?
Thank you very much, sir. Well, by now, you've probably heard the term flattening the curve when it comes to fighting the coronavirus.
RJ Marquez explains what exactly that means and why it's critical to our healthcare system.
When it comes to the novel coronavirus, one of the biggest uncertainties is how much faster it will spread in the U.S. This is where flattening the curve comes in. The speed of the outbreak is critical to combating the disease, which is why mass gatherings have been canceled, schools have been closed, and we have been asked to stay at home if possible. It's all in an effort to do what's known as social distancing. If there is a massive spike in cases, experts say it will overwhelm our healthcare system. More people will die because there won't be enough hospital beds and ventilators to keep them alive. The curve takes into account the daily number of cases and the capacity of our healthcare system. If we do not social distance and take preventative measures, the daily outbreak peak will explode. If we act now and take precautions, the peak could flatten out over time. Yes, simply slowing the spread of COVID-19 extends its time, but it would prevent flooding the healthcare system, which is more of an urgent concern. Hospitals would be better equipped to treat several people over an extended period of time, as opposed to a rush of patients in a shorter period. Keep in mind, flattening the curve does not essentially reduce the number of overall cases we will see, but health experts say the goal is not so much about preventing illness, but rather slowing down the rate at which people get sick. This could save lives. Even if you're young and healthy or feeling okay, it's your job to social distance to avoid spreading it to others and keep the pandemic in slow motion. I'm RJ Marcus. To see more stories like this, watch KSAT News at 9, Monday through Friday.
Demand for air travel still dropping as countries put more travel restrictions into place. Emirates Airlines, one of the world's largest long-haul carriers, says it's stopping nearly all passenger flights this week. Hong Kong's top-rated Cathay Pacific has cut capacity to almost nothing for April and May. Still, it might be good for the consumer in the long run as prices continue to fall to record levels, and airlines offer amazing deals.
And also on the way up, overtime pay at Amazon to show its appreciation to its workers and the extra demand they are seeing. Anything over 40 hours a week will pay double instead of time and a half. Amazon is working to keep up with the crush of online orders from people sheltering at home.
Trader Joe's joins a number of retailers offering special shopping hours to the elder population. Starting today, the specialty supermarket is reserving the first hour of the day for senior citizens. Trader Joe's also says they'll have an extra line outside its front door for seniors that will provide those customers with a quicker entrance. Walgreens is adding a senior hour starting this week, Tuesdays from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Company also says customers 55 and older will receive special discounts on Tuesdays.
Much needed right now.
Yep. Justin standing by with the forecast over there. Marcus also keeping an eye on the roads.
And fog is the big issue this morning. We're seeing quite a bit of it here around San Antonio. We're going to see some improvement a little bit later this morning. We also got some rain over the weekend, which was a really good thing. Let's take a look at the drought monitor. You see where the drought issues are at their worst. And that's basically around South Texas. And we're expecting that this will improve, or we'll see this map improve as we get into Thursday because we get to add in this weekend's rainfall. This does not include that. I want to look at Medina Lake, too, because this is always a good indicator of where we are drought-wise. 74% full. It's about 12 inches below the conservation pool, so it's about 12 feet, I should say, not inches, feet. And the 6-month change, we're about 8 feet down. So it's still dropping. We'll see if these recent rains sort of level it out a little bit. So far, it hasn't shown much response to that. Outside right now, we've got foggy conditions, 63 degrees, dew point is at 63, calm winds, humidity at 100%. And so we're seeing quite a bit of fog here around San Antonio, as we mentioned. Airport down a half a mile visibility, Randolph 0.6, Stinson 3/4 of a mile. New Braunfels has been stuck about half a mile there. So it's really up and down I-35 where the fog is at its worst. Temperatures in the 60s for the most part, 65 Castroville, 63 Hondo, 66 in New Braunfels. And then you got some 70s on the map too. I mean, it's pretty warm out there. This is a change from what we were dealing with this weekend. The warm, humid air has surged back in to South Texas, and it's only going to get warmer from here. Dew points are high today, yes. They'll drop off a little bit tomorrow. We'll get some dry air, and then they come right back up, especially as you get into Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And looking at the forecast temperatures, we should be up around 80 today. Some cooler temperatures, slightly cooler, up in the hill country, and then you'll find some really warm stuff down there around Carrizo Springs and Cotulla. And this is all dependent on sun. When does the sun come out? I think probably late afternoon. We'll lose the fog. Clouds will hang on a little bit longer and then break up later today. Big picture here across the country. We've got some active weather across the Northeast, some snow there, rain tailing behind that. And here's the upper level winds in the forecast going forward. We're going to see high pressure start to build in a little bit more. This means hot weather. And I think that this will show some 90s for much of South Texas, including here in San Antonio. And then as we get into the latter part of the week, we'll see another system dive in. This will create some showers and storms, some isolated stuff Friday into Saturday. Chances are pretty low that this is going to have a huge effect on us, but just another rain chance there down the line. 80 degrees today, some afternoon clearing, southerly winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. And then we'll go 88 tomorrow, 91 Wednesday, 91 on Thursday, 90s in the forecast for the first time in a long time. And then 88 Friday, 20% chance of rain Friday night into Saturday. And cooling down a little bit as we get into the weekend with some more clouds Saturday and Sunday. But a warm forecast there for the rest of the week, guys.
Looking forward to the sun, though.
That's right. Thank you, Justin. Right now we are at 10 till 6 as we're moving right along on a busy Monday morning. We're at 63 degrees.
And how a voice actor from a critically acclaimed Spider-Man animated film wants to do his part to help kids stuck at home. Details still ahead.
But first, we've got all your lottery numbers, including Powerball. Pick 3, 834, Fireball 0, Daily 4, 8752, Fireball 8.
And looking at Cash 5, we have 9, 12, 28, 29, 35. Lotto Texas, 3, 8, 14, 18, 27, 47. And your Powerball numbers, 2, 23, 40, 59, 69, Powerball 13, Power Play 2. Good luck.
Good morning. Coming up on GMA, the very latest on the coronavirus crisis. America at war with this invisible enemy as President Trump promises more beds to the hardest hit states, while doctors sound the alarm about their dwindling supplies. One ER doctor on the front lines who really touched a nerve with his Facebook post pleading for help will join us live. That plus much more only on GMA. We'll see you soon.
Hi, my name is Chris. Is this on?
As the world hunkers down amid the COVID-19 pandemic, musicians are getting in tune and continue to entertain us. The Berlin Philharmonic went on with the show recently, performing to an empty auditorium and making its archive of performances free for the next month. The Dropkick Murphys weren't about to let the coronavirus stop their annual St. Patrick's Day celebration. The boys from Boston still performed via live stream. The show is available on YouTube in case you missed it.
Because I missed singing for you guys, of course, is nowhere to go, because don't we all feel that way?
Melissa Etheridge is taking the online concert idea even further with daily performances she's calling the Stay-at-Home Concert Series. No tickets required, just head over to her Facebook page.
I hope all y'all got your rubber gloves and surgical masks on.
From a polar opposite genre, hardcore punk band Cro-Mags streamed and recorded a free concert for its fans just days after a planned performance at New York City's Webster Hall was canceled.
In the darkness, I feel holy. You said you're gonna love me for, and I said, how could that be?
And some artists are performing online to help others in need. Singer-songwriter Lily Kershaw joined a trio of other artists on YouTube to raise funds for Feeding America's COVID-19 Response Fund.
I know a place down past an old shack.
With more and more musicians announcing live stream performances, this could be how we enjoy live music for the time being. Pushing my streaming capability to the limit in Hollywood, I'm Rick Damicella.
And next hour, we'll be talking about Garth Brooks and a streaming opportunity as we head into the rest of your Monday. Hey, a reminder, the South Texas Blood and Tissue Center is holding a week-long community blood drive this week. The goal of the drive to hopefully build up a 20-day supply amid the coronavirus outbreak. The drive will be at the San Antonio Shrine Auditorium, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Donations are appointment only, and we have all the information you need to sign up on our website at KSAT.com. If your kids are bored staying at home, how about a message from Spider-Man to cheer them up? Jake Johnson voices the older version of Peter Parker in the movie Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. He says parents have been reaching out to him to say the movie is helping their kids get through the long days stuck at home. He says families can request he send their kids an encouraging voice message. They just have to email Peter B. Parker says hi at gmail.com. Yeah, for real. With all the Spider-Man fans out there, Johnson does say he might not be able to get to everyone, but he's doing the best that he can. Right now it's about 3 till. Social distancing, one way to keep COVID-19 from spreading, but what if you still want to stay in shape? Later on GMSA, we want to share a few exercises you can do at home without weights or without the crowds. And Officer Marcus Trujillo is back in-house this week. Good to see him. He'll have an update on time-saver traffic. Our main problem this morning is going to be the fog, as you can see it on almost all of the TransGuide cameras here. Justin will get us updated as we look ahead to the work week. You're watching GMSA.
An early morning shooting just north of downtown ends with one man dead. I'm Max Massing, and I have all the details coming up on Good Morning San Antonio.
Plus, the latest on the coronavirus pandemic. New safety precautions Joint Base San Antonio is enacting to make sure everyone stays safe.
And taking a look outside with live cam this morning, a little foggy out there. If you have to head on the road, you want to be careful. We're going to check in with Marcus to see how it's going on in the roads, and also going to check in with Justin in just a bit.
Live from KSAT 12, Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
And we continue to wake up to a new normal. Good morning, everybody. It is Monday. It is March 23rd. We hope you had a great weekend, able to find some joy out there, even though it was kind of a dreary weekend weather-wise.
It was, but we are expecting the sun.
That's right. We are expecting the sun and a warm up. We're going to be checking with Marcus in just a moment, but let's talk about the fog issue right now, Justin.
Yeah, it is foggy out there. We had, as you guys mentioned, a dreary weekend. Quite a bit of rain, in fact, at least in spots. And we've been watching these numbers very closely. In fact, it just updated there behind me. And the fog's sort of spreading east to west here along I-35. But we're down to about half a mile at the airport, half a mile at Randolph, quarter of a mile now at Stinson. So it's dropped there. New Braunfels, 3/4 of a mile, and Port SA starting to drop. So this fog is shifting across the city. It's going to be here for a little while. I think probably mid-morning. And then it'll take a little bit longer for the clouds to clear out. And then hopefully we get some sun this afternoon, at least if you're looking forward to some sun. Pollen count shows molds in the high category. Not a big surprise considering what we saw over the weekend. Oak is still high. It's at 730. Hackberry is low. We'll get a new pollen count in here in about an hour and a half. We'll post it for you once we get it. Temperature-wise, 62 Bandera, 62 Tarpley, 63 Hondo, 64 down there at Stinson. It's a pretty warm morning, and we're going to see a pretty warm afternoon. Again, clouds through midday, 75 2 o'clock, up around 80 for a high this afternoon. We'll call it partly cloudy, but it'll take some time to get there. And then some warmer temperatures yet coming up tomorrow and on Wednesday. Well, more on that in just a bit. Let's talk traffic now. We've got. Is that causing any issues, Marcus?
Not yet, but remember, we still have very, very light traffic out there. So we had some accidents earlier. Those have cleared up and they're out of the way. So let's take a look at a couple of TransGuide cameras. Right now, 281 up there by the airport. That's an example of areas where you want to slow down around those turns and curves. And we're starting to see 281 at Grayson, a little bit more sheen to the roadway. Fog moving in, 410 at Fredericksburg Road, also I-10 Crossroads area. So east side, I-10, 410, just remember everywhere to slow down, increase that following distance, both hands on the wheel, put away those distractions this morning. Stephanie?
Thank you, Marcus. One man is dead after a shooting just a few blocks north of downtown. Police responding to the area near East Jones and North Alamo around 3 a.m. this morning, and that's where they found the victim. Our Max Massey joins us live. Now, Max, what do we know about the situation right now?
Good morning. We are still waiting for exact details, but police on the scene telling us that they found a homeless man sleeping in the back of a truck with at least one gunshot wound. I'm going to step out of the way, show you what we're looking at. That truck that's about to get towed away as we speak. That is where they found that man. Throughout the morning, we saw investigators going through the truck and actually combing through the area looking for any evidence. Like I said, police actually clearing the scene as we speak. They tell me 2 men in masks walked up to that vehicle, pulled out a gun and shot the man. That victim was actually revived on the scene by police. He was put in an ambulance, taken to BAMC, and that is where we were told that he later died. Now, like I said, throughout the morning, we saw investigators still trying to figure out what exactly happened here. They were going through the area with large flashlights, looking for evidence, looking for suspects. Police still working, trying to figure out what exactly happened here, why it happened, and who pulled the trigger. Like I said, 2 men in masks with weapons still on the loose. That is the latest, and we're going to keep you informed throughout the morning as we get more updates. Mark, Stephanie?
Thank you, Max. The number of new coronavirus cases in our area continues to rise.
And a look at the latest numbers from Metro Health now shows 45 positive cases of COVID-19. Now 26 are travel related, 7 are close contacts of previously diagnosed, 10 cases were part of community spread, and 2 remain under investigation.
And for the first time in our area, a case of COVID-19 turned deadly over the weekend. City and county officials say a woman in her 80s died. She was treated at Brooke Army Medical Center and had a history of underlying health issues. The death comes a little more than a week since the first case of COVID-19 was confirmed here in our area.
And Joint Base San Antonio Lackland continues to ramp up safety precautions after more people tested positive for COVID-19. Lackland now limiting gate access and is asking drivers to approach all gates with windows closed. IDs will be scanned through the window before entry. Some delays are expected as a result. This as 2 additional people at JBSA have been affected by the coronavirus, bringing the total to 13. Now, officials with JBSA say a contact tracing investigation is underway.
The city of New Braunfels is beginning their first day of added closures after they were ordered to shut down all non-medical and personal services. This comes in addition to bars, restaurants, and social gathering places. The ordinance applies to services that cannot be provided while maintaining 6 feet of distance. That includes all nail and hair salons, barbershops, spas, massage parlors, tattoo and piercing parlors, and private clubs in New Braunfels. The establishments that are still allowed to stay open, grocery stores and pharmacies, must require customers stand 6 feet apart, both inside and outside of the establishment. Texas Governor Greg Abbott continues to sign executive orders and waive laws in the state as the pandemic grows. This time, he is allowing hospitals to expand their bed capacity. The action aimed at reinforcing Texas's healthcare capabilities and provide additional space for COVID-19 patients. Under this order, all licensed healthcare professionals and facilities to postpone all surgeries and procedures that are not immediately medically necessary to correct a serious medical condition or preserve the life of a patient.
And north of us in Dallas County, people have been ordered to shelter in place as of today. Following the deaths of 2 more people, a Dallas County judge ordered everyone to stay home until April 3rd. Now, it allows for people to still leave their homes for activities deemed essential. Those include getting supplies for themselves and their families or to perform tasks deemed necessary to their health and safety. Only essential businesses like healthcare, critical infrastructure, and retail, including grocery stores, are allowed to operate. The shelter in place has a likelihood of being extended. And back here at home, the bus delivery for meals at East Central ISD begins today. Students, as a second option for families that require meals, buses will be stopping at specific locations for your convenience today through the end of the week. Lunchtime will be between 11 and 1. Parents still have the primary option of doing curbside at all ECISD campuses. Meals include lunch and breakfast for the following morning. They are available for those 18 and younger. We'll have a link of all those locations and the times on our website later this morning.
We also want to let you know the Bexar County Hospital District will be holding a meeting over the phone, and they want to invite the public. They will discuss a variety of topics, including renovation contracts, the health system's community health needs assessment and strategy, and evaluation of the hospital's president. If you'd like to take part, the meeting is scheduled for tomorrow. That is March 24th at 2 p.m. Now, because of the COVID-19 pandemic, there will be a live telephone line for citizen participation. All you have to do to listen to the board meeting is call the number on your screen. It is 210-358-1880, as well as dial in the access code also on your screen. It's 804-670-393#.
And if you haven't heard by now, the South Texas Blood and Tissue Center holding a week-long community blood drive in hopes of building up a 20-day supply amid the outbreak. Now, the drive will be at the San Antonio Shrine Auditorium from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Donations are by appointment only. We have all that information to sign up on our website.
Along with the blood drive, we have our complete coronavirus coverage online, including a map of Texas cases, details on how grocery stores are handling the outbreak, and a list of websites to keep your kids busy while school is out. Again, just head on over anytime, 24/7 to KSAT.com.
And U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo has arrived in Kabul on an urgent visit to try to move forward a U.S. peace deal signed last month with the Taliban. Now, since its signing, movement on the peace deal has stalled amid political turmoil in Afghanistan, with the country's leaders fighting over who is elected president. Now, two men have both declared themselves the country's president in dueling inauguration ceremonies earlier this month. Pompeo's trip to the Afghan capital today comes despite the coronavirus pandemic, at a time when world leaders and statesmen are curtailing official travel. And new this morning, San Antonio police investigating a shooting that happened on the far north side of town. According to police, 3 men and a woman were traveling in the 6700 block of Hickory Springs around 12:45 this morning when they pulled over to put in an address on their GPS. Now, that's when police say a black vehicle pulled up and fired several shots toward them. All 4 of those people jumped out of the vehicle and ran. We were told they abandoned the vehicle in Hickory Springs and went their separate ways. 2 men were grazed by the bullets. One who was shot in the arm was taken to BAMC, where he's expected to be okay. Police say the victims are being uncooperative in this investigation.
Right now, it's about 10 minutes after the hour, 63 degrees.
And bringing new life into this world amid a pandemic. Still ahead on GMSA, the new level of uncertainty many soon-to-be parents are facing.
Yeah, pounds to lose, but no weight loss plan. Up next, the foods that promote a feeling of fullness without added weight gain.
And taking a look outside with live cam. A little foggy now, but we will see the sun soon. That, I'm told, that is actually the airport that you're looking at. True story. We'll be back after the break.
.613, more than 1 in 3 adults in the U.S. is obese, and in kids it's 1 in 5. How can you get more bang for your bite without the added weight gain?
Our Max Massey has some details on some of the most filling foods that aid in weight loss.
Whether it's comfort food or you just can't get enough food, food can be addicting.
The number of people losing weight or stating that they have tried to lose weight over the past year is about 50%.
How do we get that number down? Well, one way, picking up low energy density foods, whole, unprocessed foods such as fruits, vegetables, very lean proteins, and low-fat dairy products. It allows us to eat more without gaining weight.
When you eat nuts, about an ounce of nuts a day, so 160 to 200 calories in nuts a day, they actually help you feel more full.
Baked potatoes are high in carbohydrates, yet loaded with vitamins and fiber. Broth-based bean soups contain a big dose of fiber and resistant starch. Greek yogurt is known as the single best food for shredding pounds, as dairy proteins increase fullness. And eggs are considered a complete protein containing all essential amino acids. Just be sure not to discard the yolk, helping to keep you slim and satisfied. 2 quick and easy tricks are try eating more popcorn. Not only is it low in calories, but they're airy, it's fluffy, makes you feel more full. And then before you head to bed, try taking a shot of pickle juice. Not only does it suppress that appetite, but it can help bump up that metabolism. Max Massey, KSAT 12 News.
That sounds like all sorts of fun at Max's house. Pickle juice shots and popcorn?
He stole that popcorn from me, by the way.
Did he really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
All right.
It's all right.
At least you're not keeping tabs.
No, not now.
Not at all. Let's check traffic right now with Officer Marcus Trujillo. Marcus, good morning, sir.
Good morning. Right now, as we take a look at the roadways, and don't steal co-worker snacks. That's not smart. Right now, as we take a look at the roadways, still looking pretty good as far as accident concerned. Of course, very, very light traffic out there. However, people would think you would have a tendency to think when there's light traffic, there's no accidents at all. However, that's when people aren't paying attention. This is I-10 at the Y right there, that fine silver curve. Need to be careful through there. I-10 at Callahan, eastbound and westbound lanes still running smoothly with no problems. Tenterfield, Justin, that actually looks like it's clearing up just a little bit, that downtown skyline. And then I-10, 1604. Damp roads, so those connector ramps, slow down for those. And then 1604 Culebra, no problems there.
Could it be that conditions are starting to improve here in the last 16 minutes or so?
It looks that way. Fog's kind of funny, right? Like that. It'll roll through, and then you'll see some improvement one place, and it gets worse in another. I think that's kind of what we're looking at right now. As you go out to west parts of Bexar County, we're starting to see visibility drop there. So it's probably moving a little bit. But right now, we're looking at visibility about half a mile at the airport, quarter of a mile at Stinson, half a mile at Randolph. That's basically where we were last hour. But again, these numbers may be changing a little bit. And when we look at TransGuide, it sort of tells the story here. Let's see what we got here. 281 in Grayson. That doesn't look too bad. So we'll keep an eye on it and let you know how this fog is evolving. Pollen count, mold's in the high category. It's at 1,000. Oak is in the high category too. And temperature-wise, 63 degrees at the airport. And we've got 65 at Randolph right now. And 64 down there at Stinson. And temperatures are going to stay pretty mild through the morning. And as we get into the afternoon, we'll see some pretty warm temperatures too. I want to take a look at rainfall for the month. We picked up some rain over the weekend, obviously. It was really good to see, and I think it's going to help us out quite a bit going forward with our drought situation. We're just a little bit below average now. And this graphic's trying to load, but we'll get it up for you here in just a second. It rained basically most of Saturday, and then we just had some drizzle on your Sunday, which did eventually add up to a little bit there. 1.45 for the month of March, so we're about 0.2 below the average. And then since January 1st, we're at 4.39, so just a little bit below the average. The aquifer jumped up too. This is really good. It's at 671.8, and since Thursday, it has jumped up 1.2 feet, and we're still well above average. So again, the fog is out there right now. Looking outside with live cam, 63 degrees, calm winds, humidity obviously at 100%. There's a little bit of fog off to the east to it. It's spotty here across South Texas. It doesn't really warrant a dense fog advisory, but it is going to lower visibility in spots. Temperatures 60s and 70s, as we talked about, and dew points are up there too in the 60s. Now, as we get into tomorrow, we're going to see the dry air start to work back in briefly. Weak frontal boundary works in. We can see dew points drop off into the 30s and 40s, which would be a really nice change, but it's going to allow for some pretty warm temperatures. And by the way, the moisture returns right back into the area by midweek. So here's a look at the upper level winds, and this really tells the story. We're going to see things quiet down. We had a busy pattern last week, as you know. High pressure is going to start to build back in by Wednesday, and this is at heat high, so that means some really warm temperatures Wednesday and Thursday. It breaks down a little bit by the weekend. We'll get some isolated showers and storms, I think, Friday into Saturday. Just some slight chances Friday night, Saturday morning. So we'll be up around 80 today, some afternoon clearing. It probably takes until, say, 2 or 3 o'clock today before we get some sun. Of course, those little clouds can be kind of tricky, but that's the way it's looking right now. And then 88 tomorrow, 91 on Wednesday, 91 Thursday, 88 Friday, and we'll get that weak frontal boundary Friday into Saturday, which may kick off a shower or two.
It was wild to hear those rumbles of thunder into parts of the weekend.
It was pretty loud, but man, it was a great movie watching weekend.
True.
Got a couple movies in. The wife and I played a couple games of Scrabble.
Yeah.
It was perfect for me.
You lost again, didn't you?
I actually won.
Wow.
Not by much, but I won.
Right.
Yeah.
At any point, did you tell your lawyer wife, I object?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I would
go
too.
over well.
I would too. Little jealous. Little jealous. Thank you, Justin. 6:20 right now, 63 degrees.
And expecting mothers experiencing some anxiety. Up next on GMSA, what one mother has to say about being pregnant during the coronavirus pandemic.
Here's your secret word of the day. Enter it right now on KSAT.com for your chance to win a $25 gift card from We Are Circle K.
Okay, everyone, our mission is to provide complete balanced nutrition for strength and energy.
Great tasting Ensure with 9 grams of protein and 27 vitamins and minerals. Ensure for strength and energy.
At ProPlan, we believe nutrition is full of possibilities to improve your pet's life. We're redefining what nutrition can do because the possibility of a longer life and a healthy life is the greatest possibility of all. Purina ProPlan, nutrition that performs.
those we love can be painful. Aspercream works to relieve those aches and pains. Aspercream's triple effect provides targeted relief, works in minutes, lasts for hours, so you can keep doing what you love. Love hurts. Aspercream works.
In this morning's GMA First Look, pregnancy in the age of the coronavirus.
We know that the virus has caused a lot of worry, and this can be especially true for pregnant patients. And our top goal is to keep moms and babies safe before, during, and after pregnancy.
Even for our very own GMA producers, this pandemic is adding extra anxiety during their pregnancies.
Right now, I'm 30 weeks pregnant. My due date is May 26th. So obviously a really crazy time to be pregnant.
I am currently 38 weeks pregnant, and I am unsure. And for women who are already pregnant, there is so much changing during this time of social distancing, like fewer prenatal visits and some even virtual. And coming up at 7 a.m., Dr. Jen Ashton weighs in on what expectant mothers need to know. With your GMA First Look, I'm Janae Norman, ABC News, New York.
IBM is heading up a partnership with the White House that will add high-performance computing resources to help research the coronavirus. Google, Amazon, and Microsoft are also part of the consortium. The goal is to develop models to analyze how the disease is progressing, which could help develop a vaccine.
And starting today, you won't be able to browse in a Best Buy store. An employee will bring the merchandise out to your car, even if you didn't order in advance. Best Buy is seeing a surge for home office equipment, as well as products that allow you to preserve food.
Social distancing appears to be making people more neighborly. About 2/3 of respondents to a new study in the United Kingdom said coronavirus crisis is bringing their community closer together. Many credited working together to help vulnerable neighbors.
And time now, 6:25 and 63 degrees for now.
An Austin man facing legal trouble after he allegedly made a website with coronavirus kits. What prosecutors have done so far to put that to a stop.
And Hong Kong making a big announcement up next on GMSA, who they're banning amid the coronavirus pandemic and when it's taking effect.
And we'll try to save you some time on the roads if you have to be out and about today with the fog and a little bit of slickness to the roadways. Officer Marcus Trujillo has an update coming up live right here on KSAT. We'll be right back.
This is what's left over after an early morning shooting that ended with one man dead. I'm Max Massey. Right now, we know police are looking for at least 2 suspects. We're going to have all the details just ahead.
Another week and another jump, unfortunately, in the number of coronavirus cases. Good morning, I'm Katrina Weber. I will have the breakdown for you.
The Trump administration is now ramping up federal assistance to some of the states hit the hardest by the coronavirus outbreak. I'm Inez de la Cuetara in Washington, and I'll have all the details coming up.
And the director's telling me this is actually part of I-10. It's hard to see much of anything with this live cam right now. We are socked in with some fog in some areas. Might be starting to see a few improvements here or there, but Justin's going to get you up to speed. And of course, a traffic update with Officer Marcus Trujillo back in the house this morning. Good morning, Chief. You're just now waking up. It is Monday. It is March 23rd. We hope you had a good weekend, productive. Yes. Got to do something fun, maybe with your family or friends.
Yeah, I hope you got some movies in or something.
Exactly.
Thanks for joining us.
Let's see how things are going with the gentleman over here. First up this morning,
we have another accident popping up Wurzbach Parkway. So folks, remember when those areas that are slick or have a lot of turns and curves, hills, you want to slow down well ahead of those areas this morning. That fog's not helping out with this situation despite the light traffic.
Yeah, it's pretty thick in some spots, and we've been tracking the visibility. It's been low, especially across the city of San Antonio. We're going to talk about that in just a second. Real quick, I do want to show you a picture on our KSAT Connect. This is from Judith on Fair Oaks Ranch. She picked up 2 inches of rain over the weekend. It was really good to see. It came down in buckets on Saturday, and then we saw a little bit of drizzle yesterday, but it added up to some pretty decent numbers. Now here's a look at the fog. In the wake of all that rain, we're getting some of this thicker fog, especially down there around Stinson, where visibility is about 1/4 of a mile now, about 1/2 a mile at the airport. And it's right along the I-35 corridor where the fog is at its thickest. I think give it another few hours here, probably through about mid-morning, and then we'll see the fog lift. And then the clouds will try to lift this afternoon. Hopefully, we get some sun in here, and I think we will later today. 59 degrees, Bernie Stage, 64, Boulevardy, 65, Randolph. 63 in Divine. In the forecast for today, a little bit of fog early, 72 by noontime. We'll keep it cloudy, but then mostly cloudy 2 o'clock. And then hopefully, again, some sun later today, up around 80 degrees with some really warm temperatures over the next couple of days. Okay, we've got some issues now going on. And it seems like, to me, Wurzbach Parkway, maybe it's the curves, right? That we've seen quite a few incidents there.
Curves, driving habits. Curves, driving habits. Well, maybe it's a combination of both, along with the current weather conditions. Right now, the Wurzbach Parkway at Wetmore, once again, not a major accident, but nonetheless, it was one that slowed you down. Right now, as we take a look, 410 at Fredericksburg, starting to get a few more vehicles out there. Also here in the downtown area, you can see north and southbound lanes at 35, both in the upper and lower decks. Those curves, just like this one here, that fine silver turn, slow down well ahead of those areas. You don't want to be using the brake in your turn. Apply the brake before you get to those areas, and gentle application of the brake and the accelerator throughout your morning commute. Mark?
Thank you, Marcus. Police still searching for at least 2 gunmen after investigators found a man shot in the back of a truck early this morning. Throughout the morning, there's been a heavy police presence in the area of East Jones and North Alamo, just blocks from downtown. KSAT 12's Max Massey joins us live on scene with the very latest. What is happening out there right now, Max?
Good morning, guys. Well, right now the scene is clear. Police and investigators actually clearing the scene just a few moments ago. This is what we looked at all morning long. Before police left, though, we saw at least 3 police vehicles, and they were combing the area with large flashlights. Right now, though, traffic is flowing as normal, but police left with a lot of questions unanswered. So here's what we know right now. Police tell us around 3 a.m., witnesses told them 2 men in masks walked up to a pickup truck parked under the highway and shot a man sleeping in the back of the pickup. Those 2 men then took off after the shots were fired. 911 was called. First responders were able to revive the man who was shot on the scene. They transported him to BAMC in an ambulance with life-threatening injuries, and that is where we learned he later died. Now, throughout the morning, like I said, we saw investigators and police come and go throughout the area, large flashlights looking for any sort of evidence and still searching for those 2 suspects. Right now, investigators are still working, trying to figure out what exactly happened here, why it happened, and who pulled the trigger. Mark, Stephanie?
All right, thank you, Max. The coronavirus pandemic has claimed its first life in Bexar County. A woman in her 80s who had other health problems has become the first to die from the virus locally. Our Katrina Weber is live downtown with more on the dozens of others in the county who have tested positive for the virus.
Now, good morning. The latest count that we have is 45 people. That was as of yesterday afternoon. Today, though, could see an increase in the numbers of people infected. Now, of the 45 people, a little more than half, or 26, are believed to be travel related. 7 people say they contracted it from other people who they know with COVID-19. 10 cases are what medical experts call community contact, or passed from person to person within the community. And we're told the sources of 2 other cases are still under investigation. Well, medical experts say that they expect increases or more cases to show up as more testing is done. We do expect to hear the latest count from the city later this afternoon. Reporting live near downtown, Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
Thank you, Katrina. 6:34, the White House doing their best to make sure help is on the way as our country deals with the coronavirus pandemic.
And so far, 2 states hard hit by the virus already declaring disaster areas, and California may be next. ABC's Inez De La Cueta with the latest from Washington.
Overnight, President Trump announcing the National Guard will be deployed to the 3 states hit the hardest by the coronavirus outbreak: New York, California, and Washington state.
The federal government has deployed hundreds of tons of supplies from our national stockpile to locations with the greatest need.
President also revealing makeshift hospitals will be built in those states to accommodate the growing number of cases. 4 in the New York area, providing another 1,000 beds, plus 8 in California and 4 in Washington state. And the administration promising it'll send hospitals respirators and personal protective gear such as masks and gowns.
So far delivered to New York, and this is the 19th, we had the N95 respirators, 186,416 delivered.
Meanwhile, on Capitol Hill, the first senator testing positive for COVID-19, Kentucky Senator Rand Paul. Senator Mitt Romney now having to go into quarantine after recently coming into contact with Paul. This as negotiations over a $2 trillion stimulus bill to help the economy recover from the outbreak are hitting a roadblock. Democrats say the two sides are still far apart, taking issue with key elements of the bill, including a $500 billion relief fund for corporations without any protections for workers.
And what it has is, for instance, a giant corporate bailout fund with no accountability.
Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell insists the bill is moving forward.
So we're fiddling here, fiddling with the emotions of the American people, fiddling with the markets.
The Senate plans to vote on that bill today, but with at least 5 senators now in isolation, there are growing calls for lawmakers to be able to vote on that bill remotely. Inez de la Cuetara, ABC News, Washington.
And overseas, Hong Kong announcing extreme new measures to slow the spread of the coronavirus. The city will ban all non-residents from entering the city starting Wednesday. All people coming in from nearby Taiwan will have to be quarantined. Now, this comes as Hong Kong is reporting a growing number of coronavirus cases.
Back here in Texas, an Austin-based website that claimed to sell coronavirus vaccine kits is facing big legal trouble after prosecutors filed a restraining order against the company in federal court. The enforcement action is the first to target fraud related to COVID-19 pandemic. The man behind the website, not named in court documents, but prosecutors allege the man started coronavirusmedicalkits.com, allowing customers to order a free World Health Organization quote-unquote vaccine kit for a shipping cost under $5. There's currently no cure or vaccine for COVID-19.
And on a lighter note this morning, a local car wash company giving back to nurses and healthcare workers this week. Queen Bee Car Wash says you could pull up to any one of their 7 locations around town. When you get there, just honk your horn, don't push the attendant button, and show them your badge through the window. The offer will last until next Monday, March 30th. The company says it's just a big thank you for all healthcare workers' hard work.
Hey, listen up. If you're a fan of country music, you might want to listen up to this for sure. Garth Brooks will be live streaming a concert after dozens of musicians have done the same on social media. Garth made the announcement via Instagram saying he's accepting song requests for his virtual concert, Studio G, night at 8 our time. It's happening tonight at 8 our time, I think is what it meant to say. Let's see. Garth said, quote, "Let's let music connect us during this disconnected time." If you have a request to submit, you can do so on Garth Brooks's Instagram account. I have to assume that's where his concert will also be, again, happening. Well, that says 7 o'clock Eastern time, so that would be 6 o'clock San Antonio time this evening. Check it out.
That's cool. He's taking requests.
I know. Isn't that great?
Bad.
I heard something about this last week, but I think this is the first I'd heard of a time.
So it came out.
And now we need to spread the word because a gentleman named George Strait also lives here in San Antonio.
Yes, he does.
All right, Mr. Strait, it's we love you. And maybe you can help out a little bit here. Hint. Not subtle as a thunderstorm. 639, 63 degrees.
And keeping fit while practicing social distancing. Up next on GMSA, we check out a few exercises that you can do at home without weights or the crowds.
With all this talk about the coronavirus, you've probably heard about social distancing. It's one way to protect yourself. But what if you still want to work out, stay in shape? Well, this morning we want to show you a few exercises that you can do right in your home without the weights or a gym.
First, push-ups. They've been around forever, and for good reason. Push-ups can be a great way to work on your chest and triceps. And if you want a more intense push-up, try widening your arms to work out your back. Next, sit-ups. They may sound like a pain, but it's a good way to build your core strength and help strengthen your lower back. And then there's jumping jacks. Essential in any workout, jumping jacks is a great cardio exercise. It speeds up your heart rate, can help with weight loss, and prevent high blood pressure. Up next, squats. It's one of the best workouts to help shape and define your legs. And last but not least, stretching, which helps blood flow and muscular coordination. The best part, you can stretch anywhere, anytime.
So, if you're stuck at home, don't feel like you have to be a couch potato. You can still get up and move. For GMSA, I'm Devin Clark, KSAT 12 News.
Devin needs a workout app or something, doesn't he? Awesome. I think it'd be great. In your morning headlines, Canada says it will not be sending athletes to the 2020 Summer Olympics in Tokyo. The team made the announcement on Twitter. Canada is calling on Olympic organizers to delay the games by a year as the world struggles to slow the spread of COVID-19. Comes after the International Olympic Committee announced potentially postponing this year's games, but nothing official has been decided yet. The Australian Olympic Committee is also warning its athletes to prepare for the Summer Games to be pushed back to 2021.
And here locally, it's been pretty foggy outside, so let's take a look at the roads with Marcus Trujillo.
And Marcus, Stephanie, we have that accident, but a little bit more information. It's not actually on Wurzbach Parkway, but on the intersection, so accidents actually on Wetmore Road. But nonetheless, folks, a lot of areas where there's twists and turns and curves, you will have to reduce that speed. Now, what you're seeing here, this backup is not from an accident, but due to the current situation for everyone's health and safety, all the bases here in the San Antonio area are limiting the gates that are open. So these folks here are waiting on the access road of northbound 35 right there at Ben Zingelman to cross over and then make their way into the hospital. So at some of these bases, you may, if you're some of the essential personnel that do have to report for work, expect some long lines as everyone is having to use fewer gates this morning. Take a look, 35, 37 here in the downtown vicinity so far. No problems there. And 21 at Winding Way, you can see still have a little bit of that fog, and I imagine it's a little bit worse the closer you get to the Almost Basin. Now moving over to I-10 and Crossroads. We have additional vehicles, both eastbound and westbound, but you see that long curve there towards the top of your screen. Remember, reduce that speed well ahead of those turns and curves. That minimizes your chance of being involved in an accident. Then over here, 1604 Caldera, we can see that not too much traffic on the eastbound or the westbound lanes. You're not in trouble, Mark. And the exit for Highway 151 from 1604.
You sure about that?
What were you shopping for?
No, I'm not shopping.
No.
Just my mom and dad are watching us on the live stream.
Did they make it home okay?
They made it back to Charlotte, North Carolina.
Awesome.
Yep.
So, hi, Mom. Hi, Dad.
I know, right? Yeah, so
Hi.
hunkering down back at home after a very brief visit here, but they'll be back to South Texas when it's safer.
Nice.
For everybody. All right, let's go to weather and let's talk more about social distancing and your lawn mowing forecast.
Still the longest title I've ever put on a weather graphic.
It barely fits.
Social distancing lawn mowing forecast. Since we do have to be at a distance, lawn mowing is sort of a good thing to do right now. Everyone's at home. It's going to be a pretty good week for it, so we're giving it check marks across the board here, except for Saturday. That's when we might get a little bit of rain. I will caution you, though, Wednesday and Thursday will be awful warm. You might want to get out and mow the lawn in the morning if you do have plans to do that. You're also going to run into some oak while you're mowing the lawn. That's the other unfortunate part about all this, if you have any oak trees. The latest, 730 heavy, that's the latest oak count. We are nearing the peak, though. We want to get past that peak and get on the other side and hopefully see this oak season start to wind down a little bit, but it is still going pretty good right now. Outside right now, we've got 63 degrees. Dew point is at 63. Calm winds, humidity at 100%. That means fog. And we're seeing quite a bit of it here around San Antonio and Bexar County in general. About half a mile at the airport, half a mile at Randolph, quarter of a mile down there at Stinson. So really, Bexar County kind of remains the epicenter here when it comes to the fog. Some improvement up around New Braunfels. As you go west, not much out there, and then there is a little bit of fog as you get down towards Beeville and Victoria as well. Temperatures are in the 60s in most spots. You'll find a few 70s out there. It's a little bit warmer than it has been past couple mornings. Dew points are certainly up. We'll see dew points still somewhat high tomorrow. We'll get a frontal boundary that'll move through here. It'll knock down dew points a little bit, especially as we get into Wednesday, which will really allow for those temperatures to soar. But as we get later into the week, dew points come right back. It's not until the weekend that we see them drop off again. Daytime high temperatures today, up around 80 here in town, some 70s in the hill country, and where we see a little bit more sun, which I think will happen down towards Eagle Pass, Carrizo Springs, Cotulla, some big time numbers, upper 80s there. It is going to be a warm afternoon. Here's the upper level winds and the setup that we've got underway. Pretty quiet pattern for this week. More zonal flow, other than we're going to see this ridge sort of edge in just a little bit. And that's why we're going to see some pretty warm temperatures. Our next storm system doesn't arrive until Friday into Saturday. It's probably Friday night, Saturday morning when we have some rain chances there. So the forecast for today, we'll take it up to 72 by noontime, 80 for a high, some afternoon clearing, southerly winds 5 to 10 miles per hour, and then 88 Tuesday, 91 Wednesday, 91 Thursday, 88 on Friday. There is that 20% chance there Friday night into Saturday morning in that frontal boundary does cool us down some, back into the 70s. But it was a dreary weekend. I know some people are hoping for some sun so they can get back outdoors and do whatever you need to do. But I think probably later this afternoon the sun pops back out.
Then you say you've made it a long-term plan to reacquire some more puzzles at the Horn House?
Yes. Well, so this weekend I thought I'd go buy a puzzle, and it was extremely picked over. There was like one puzzle. It was a unicorn. So I had to buy a unicorn puzzle. My daughter liked that.
That's great for your daughter, yeah.
Good times, good times. Thank you, Justin. Yep. Right now we're at 649, 63 degrees.
And getting to know the woman taking the first step in a male-dominated sport. Tomorrow on GMSA, we're going to show you how she's making it happen and who inspired her.
And outside with Live Cam, the news you need to know before you go, coming up right here on Good Morning San Antonio from wherever you're watching.
One man is dead, and police are still searching for 2 suspects. I'm Max Massey, and we are here at East Jones and North Alamo, just a few blocks north of downtown. The scene is clear now, but there has been a heavy police presence throughout the morning. This is what we saw earlier this morning. Police tell us around 3 a.m. they got a call for shots fired. When they arrived, they found a man who they tell us is homeless. He was shot, and he was in the back of this pickup truck. They say witnesses told them 2 masked men who were armed walked up to the vehicle and fired. Now, the man who was shot was unresponsive at first, but emergency responders were able to revive him on the scene. He was then transported to BAMC in an ambulance, and he was taken with life-threatening injuries. That is where he later died. Now, throughout the morning, police have been going through the area, searching for any sort of evidence with large flashlights, trying to figure out what exactly happened here and who exactly is responsible. Reporting just north of downtown, Max Massey, KSAT 12 News.
The coronavirus total has climbed to 45 in Bexar County. Good morning, I'm Katrina Weber. For the first time, the pandemic has had a deadly toll here in Bexar County. Metro Health says a woman in her 80s who had underlying health problems is the first to die locally. There are 45 people who are dealing with the diagnosis. Meanwhile, some are being treated for symptoms. 26 of those people are believed to have contracted the virus through travel. Another 7 got it from someone who they know who was positive. The county now has 10 community spread cases, or people who were infected within our community. And health experts are still trying to figure out how 2 other people got the coronavirus. And we expect another update on the numbers later this afternoon. And health experts say that the increased testing could mean more cases show up. Reporting from downtown, Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
5 till.
All right, let's take one last look at the traffic with Marcus Trujillo.
And as we take a look at the maps, looking pretty good. The highway's accident-free, and moving over to the TransGuide camera, 1604 Calero, still looking pretty good. A little bit heavier traffic on those northbound main lanes headed from Highway 151, 1604 back over towards the I-10, 1604 interchange. Justin?
Thank you, sir. And that TransGuide shot looks like the fog's not too bad. So it really is depending on where you are in town. It's patchy across San Antonio and Bexar County in general. But we are going to see some fog through the morning time. 72 by noontime, and I think the clouds will stick around a little bit longer. Hopefully some sun later this afternoon. Temperatures right now, we're shooting for 80 degrees. Later today, southerly winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Once we get past today, it really turns warm. 88 degrees tomorrow. We'll start off with some clouds, then it sort of dries out during the afternoon. 91 on Wednesday, 91 Thursday. Get some warm stuff by the end of the week before a slight rain chance Friday into Saturday, and some cooler temperatures showing up Saturday into Sunday.
Gentlemen, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you guys for joining us.
Have a great day. We're back for GMSA at 9. And remember, if you need puzzle tips, email Justin. Justin is the puzzle prince at gmail.com. I'm totally kidding.